and you just put the ugliest piece of shit on my body ever that I have to live with.
This is without a doubt one of the dumbest tattoo regret stories I've ever heard, and as the self-proclaimed crowned king of tattoos you're going to regret, it only makes sense that I cover this here. Anyway, today we're talking about a TikToker by the name of Marie Armstrong, and we're going to be covering her story. So let's just get into it.
I've never instantly regretted getting a tattoo until this one I got yesterday. Okay, I have a bunch of tattoos. Most of my tattoos are on my hands, on my fingers. I have a bunch of like little critters, whatever.
I mean, if all the tattoos that she shows on her fingers are the bunch of tattoos that she's talking about, then we've got a different definition of what a bunch of tattoos mean. Anyway, let's just carry on.
Anyway, so about a year ago, I got a tattoo of a banana.
Who gets a tattoo of a banana anyway?
And it completely faded. I got it on the side of my index finger, like, I don't want to show you yet, but right here on the other finger, completely faded, which is pretty normal because, you know, I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, tell us one more time.
So I know how they are. I've had to get this one done 4 times, this one done 3 times in order for them to stay at least a little bit. Like, they're still pretty faded, but they're at least there, you can see them. So I expected this, but this one faded like completely.
You know, I don't want this to come across patronizing, but I have made about 100 videos talking about finger tattoos and how they don't last. And I always get a bunch of people arguing back in the comments, oh, mine have stayed and they're 10 years in. And I'm like, maybe you think that's the case, but if you actually look at the tattoo when you first got it done and compare to how it looks now, you're going to see that they probably haven't, because they just don't. I mean, I've had my fingers done at least twice now, and it's just the way it works, especially with hands. There's so much friction, you're always touching stuff, you're picking up stuff, there's a lot of blood pressure that goes through the hands. Finger tattoos just do not last. I don't care who you are, I don't care what you do, even if you are someone who's just, I don't know, claiming benefits and hasn't worked a day in their life, you're still not going to retain your finger tattoos.
Let me show you. Okay, this is what it looked like immediately after I got it. And this is what it looked like up until I got it redone. It basically completely faded. You could not tell what it was. I didn't even count it as a tattoo I had.
I mean, yeah, that is completely normal, especially a fine line tattoo like that. And again, I brought up the argument about the fine line tattoos many times in the past. Fine line tattoos are going to fade. If you don't like it, then you've obviously got an agenda about fine line tattoos, which is also fine, but you know, let's be objective here.
So when my boyfriend told me he had a tattoo appointment and that he was getting a tattoo done by this artist who's really good, he's done a bunch of his other tattoos, they all look super good. I was like, I'll go with you and I'll get my banana redone. So we get to the tattoo shop, no one speaks English.
That's always a good sign.
I am the only person in the room who, I mean, they speak English a little bit, but everyone was speaking in Spanish, my boyfriend included. Like, I did not know what was going on.
And that's where you should have turned around and just left. Because again, like, let's be honest, if you can't actually properly communicate to your artist what you want, you can't then blame them for the fact that they haven't given you what you've asked for.
And then I soon realized that the guy who was tattooing him was not the same guy who was tattooing me. So there's this other guy, and I don't know what's going on. And this guy does not speak like any English at all. So, you know, it's pretty simple. It's a banana. I show him a picture of right when I got the banana done the first time. And he goes ahead and starts freehanding, like adding on the rest of the banana to what he can already see and sketching it, which I didn't really expect him to print a stencil because like you'd have to size it perfectly. So I'm like, freehand, fine, you're an artist. Like, this is what you do. You know what you're doing.
Knowing what you're doing and knowing what the client actually wants are two different things. Again, if you can't successfully communicate to your artist what you want, then you can't really put a blame on them for not giving you what you want.
Okay, and then we get to the tattooing part, and they're like, this hurts a lot, or that's what my boyfriend said to me, or the other, I don't know. And I was like, it's not that bad, like, I've gotten a bunch of finger tattoos, I can handle it, it's only for a minute, they're small. Anyways, and then they spray some, like, lidocaine spray on me to numb it, which first off did nothing, and second off, I'm offended, I didn't want that, I can handle the pain, I'm not a bitch. And
Wow, okay. Look, so first of all, lidocaine spray will only work once the skin is broken. She doesn't specify whether the skin was broken or not, but judging by the size of the tattoo, I mean, a finger tattoo doesn't take that long. I mean, the size of her tattoo especially, that's probably like a 5-minute tattoo. So to really say, I'm not a bitch, you know, maybe go and get a bigger tattoo done, and then let's talk about this again, because granted, women do take tattoo pain better than men, but finger tattoos do hurt, don't get me wrong, but again, it's about the size of the tattoo and it's about the length that you're sitting. You know, if your tattoo takes 5 minutes, you can't really talk about pain and things like that because you haven't exactly sat for a duration of a tattoo where you might have a couple of hours of line work and then shading and then maybe have white on top, or you may even have color, you know. So these things are just always funny to me because it's always the people that I like to call the tatfish, okay? So the tatfish is the person that will only have their hands, face, neck tattoos, things like that, but they will claim like they have a bunch of tattoos. And so they're always the people bragging how tattoos don't hurt at all, but really your tattoo only lasted about 2 seconds.
Anyways, tattoo is done. I look at it and I am trying to not cry. Like, I know that these are stupid, silly little goofy tattoos, and maybe to you, like, it doesn't matter how the fuck they look, but I actually care. Like, I actually liked my original banana, and I thought it was adorable.
And so you should. It is a tattoo that is on your body. I can understand that. But then the fact that you go ahead and trust someone who doesn't even speak the language that you speak, doesn't that contradict exactly what you're saying? Because if you care, then you wouldn't put that in the hands of someone who you can't successfully instruct on what you're actually after.
And you just put the ugliest piece of shit on my body ever that I have to live with. I mean, hopefully it's gonna fade as much as it did the first time. I'm like not taking care of it at all. I'm washing my hands a million times a day, and once it starts to scab, I will be peeling the scab off. So I'm hoping it just fades as much as it did the first time.
That's not good. Look, even if you dislike your tattoo, not looking after it is not the way to go. You still want to make sure that you're looking after your tattoo properly and making sure that it heals well, because you can get an infection. There could be all sorts. So even if you dislike the tattoo, make sure that you are healing your tattoo, and then after that, you can go ahead and do a cover up or laser removal or whatever you want to do. But that's definitely not the advice I would give someone. If you dislike your tattoo, doesn't mean you should go ahead and just neglect it.
It did the first time, but like, I was pissed. So this is what I was expecting. You want to see what I got?
Okay, now the big reveal. Are you ready for this?
What? I can't even make this up. How is it that, guys, how? This is a joke. First off,
I mean, is it just me, or is she just overreacting? I mean, tattoo is not that different. It is just not. It's not.
can't even tell it's a banana. It literally, like, it is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, how do you go from that picture to this? How do you do this and you walk away proud? So anyways, after my boyfriend got his tattoos, they look
Have you ever heard the saying, you can't polish a turd?
incredible. They're absolutely amazing. From a different artist, who was also the shop owner. So after we left, he DM'd the shop owner and was like, sent him the pictures, because he never even saw the finished result. And he was like, you know what, let it heal. Once it starts to scab, peel the scab off, and then hopefully it won't stay, and then come back in and I'll fix it for you.
Hopefully it won't stay. That's a great advertisement for your shop.
So I don't know if I'm gonna go back and let him fix it for me, or if I'm just gonna go back to my original artist, who I should have never cheated on in the first place. But yeah, so
that's a pretty good bet.
I have the world's ugliest banana tattoo on my finger. Slay.
Okay, I mean, look, whenever I see posts like that, I'm kind of just shaking my head because, first of all, the tattoo is not big enough or not significant enough for you to really be making all that fuss about it. You know, the song and dance that she gives at the start, it almost makes it out like it's this big giant tattoo that's going to be life-changing and so much more, like, revealing, I guess, but it ends up just being such a pointless small little tattoo that will not even be there in 6 months' time, and you're going to have to go and get your third or fourth sit on it, like just like you've had on your other pointless little tattoos. But, you know, I do say this time and time again. Tattoos, especially on things like fingers and hands, are going to need maintenance, and a lot more maintenance to your other tattoos, okay? Because again, you're constantly touching stuff, you're constantly putting blood pressure through, you're constantly putting things up and down and picking things up, especially if you've got a manual labor job or you work a job where you're using your hands a lot. That is always going to be an issue that you're going to have to address, and touch-ups are normal. Touch-ups are part of the maintenance of your tattoo. Maintaining a tattoo is no different to maintaining your car. You can't expect to drive 100,000 miles in your car and never change the oil. Tattoos are very much the same. Okay, so yeah, that's really all I've got to say on this. I just wanted to cover this just because it is a bit of a pointless topic, but it is worth covering because I think a lot of people get a tattoo and then they just kind of assume that that's it, done and dusted. And really the message of this video is that if you're going to be getting tattoos, you do want to make sure that you are maintaining them and you are going for the frequent touch-ups. And that's why a lot of artists will offer free touch-ups and things like that. So yeah, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this type of content, what else you want me to cover, what you want to see. And make sure to follow me as well. Follow me, like the content, leave a comment. And yeah, I'll be talking to you next time.